People ask me why I'm sitting on record cash. They think I'm being conservative. They are not paying attention. I'm not looking at politics. I'm looking at systemic risk. And what I'm watching in Washington isn't just turbulence, it's an avalanche in real time. This 2025 triumphant return has descended into chaos, a predictable chaos of legal challenges, market volatility, and institutional pushback. When you operate a flawed model for long enough, you eventually get the outcome you deserve. This is that outcome. You ask me about my tone. I'm not cautionary like some people. I'm rational. When the data shows you an avalanche, you don't pretend it's instability. You don't hope. You prepare. You don't comment on the politics. You comment on the folly. And what we are seeing is folly at an institutional level, threatening the entire system. If you want to understand the real problem, ignore the political noise and look at the balance sheet. The center of this entire crisis is the Trump Organization. This creates the fundamental structural conflict. The President of the United States is simultaneously a leader and a defendant. And the defendant part is contaminating the leader part. The organization itself, the hotels, the golf clubs, is built on a foundation of inflated valuations and creative accounting. The courts have not cleared his name. The findings of fraud are lingering. This isn't just bad press, it's a fundamental liability. Now, watch the smart money. Don't listen to the rallies. Watch the banks. The banks are quietly distancing themselves. Insurance companies are reevaluating their risk exposure. Why? Because the institutional investors, the real money, are asking one cold question. Is the reputational damage of doing business with a sitting president under federal investigation worth the risk? And their answer is no. This is the silent collapse. It's not just a legal battle anymore. It is a total loss of confidence from the financial system that once backed him. When the banks that used to loan you money now see you as toxic, the math has changed. This personal chaos is now bleeding into governance, and the policies are just as volatile. The administration is launching sweeping tariffs against China and the EU, believing they are protecting American industry. This is fundamental economic illiteracy. What actually happens is simple. They trigger retaliatory measures. China hits back. The EU hits back. In these tit-for-tat trade wars, nobody wins. Prices go up for everyone. This isn't complex theory, it's just inflation. Investor trust is shaken. Even his own cabinet is privately whispering, "How long can you keep pushing this hard without something breaking?" While this administration is busy fighting itself, the rest of the world is reacting. Our rivals, Russia, China, are watching this chaos. They don't see strength. They see weakness and opportunity. Our allies, the smart ones, are hedging their bets. They are diversifying their partnerships, quietly moving away from an unreliable anchor. Global investors are fleeing. The U.S. dollar is fluctuating wildly. So where is the smart money going? Gold and bonds, the traditional safe havens. When investors flee your currency for rocks and paper, they are telling you they have lost faith in your leadership. This isn't making America strong. This is adding instability to an already unstable world. It's throwing gasoline on a fire. People keep asking me what I think. I am known for being rational, not emotional. I will give you the rational analysis. Here is the thesis. Markets can handle bad news. What they cannot handle is chaos. Bad news is a recession. You can price a recession. Chaos is when you don't know the rules anymore. Chaos is when institutions become tools of personal defense instead of national governance. America's real strength isn't its military, it's predictability. That predictability is the bedrock of the entire financial system, and right now that bedrock is gone. The system is trembling. So people look at Berkshire, my company, and they ask why we are sitting on record cash reserves. They say, "You are betting against America." That is a foolish analysis. I am not betting against America. I am betting that America is heading into a storm, and the epicenter of that storm is political mistrust. This cash is the ultimate proof of the thesis. Holding cash isn't passive. It is an active, strategic preparation for volatility. When you see chaos, holding cash is the only sane, prudent move. The narrative of Trump the survivor has defined his career. He survived bankruptcies, impeachments, and investigations. His supporters see this as strength. I see it as a history of bad decisions. But here is the reality. Every comeback has a cost, and this time the costs are mounting faster than the victories. The legal fees are astronomical. The reputational cost is terminal. Banks are pulling back. The political capital is spent. The nation is watching a president caught between two competing, mutually exclusive priorities: defending his personal business empire, steering the country. You cannot do both. It is a fundamental conflict of interest. You cannot run a country while you are trying to save your personal balance sheet. It is not possible. I have always said, you find out who's swimming naked when the tide goes out. For Donald Trump, the tide is not just retreating, it is gone. The easy money, the political immunity, and the endless credit are over. And we are now seeing what was underneath. The question is no longer if he can survive. The question is whether the foundation was ever solid, or if it was always just an illusion. The math suggests the latter.